Good afternoon. For this third episode of the Wolep podcast, we are honored to welcome uh, Mrs. Lucija Vranešević Grbić, a distinguished legal professional who has made her mark within and beyond Serbia through her diverse legal journey, as well as within the Wolep community. Welcome. And
Thank you
also
very
welcome
much.
to Bucharest for
Thank you.
this episode of our podcast. I will follow up with a bit of info about Mrs. Vranesevic Grbic in a moment, but I would also like to welcome another guest of ours for this episode. He's
Thank you very much for the invitation.
information technology specialist with a degree in artificial intelligence, which is the topic of today's episode. He will be exploring for us the intricacies and also the technical limitations to what we call artificial intelligence systems. So welcome and thank you for accepting our invitation, Mr. Craciun. And going back to our guest from Wolep, Serbia, I can tell you that Mrs. Lucija Vranešević Grbić obtained her master's degree in criminal law from the University of Belgrade.
Yes.
And then further broadened her expertise by delving into the tech world, which brings her today to this table, which also is exemplified by her attainment of the lawyer certificate CS50 from Harvard University. Congratulations for this achievement. Notably, in July 2023, she conducted a well-received Wolep webinar on EVs and alternative batteries. She approached this topic with great professionalism, and it was very well received by the Wolep community. Today we are equally privileged to witness your expertise, and I'm referring to both of you, within the Wolep network. So again, welcome to our headquarters for this episode.
Thank you very much.
Speaking about legal competence, we can tell our viewers that you initially gravitated towards criminal law and then extended seamlessly into corporate contract and IT law, which shows that you are very versatile as a lawyer and also a very forward-thinking lawyer. She is proficient in Serbian, Croatian and English with a solid command of the German language. And I think it's fair to say that Lucija embodies the expertise necessary to navigate the intricate terrain of tech law and its global implications. Today's topic, as I told you before, deals with AI, specifically decoding AI in law. EU regulations and data protection is the topic at hand, and we'll be talking about it in the next hour. So again, thank you both. And I'll start our debate, our conversation by asking Mr. Craciun, what is artificial intelligence? Because we hear it all the time, it's a hype word, but at the same time, few people actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's a very good question. It is important that we clarify this at the beginning. First of all, I would look at artificial intelligence as a tool which should produce responsibly and used responsibly. That's very important. Powerful tool, but responsibility of the user should be there. Then we use this word intelligence. Well, I think defining intelligence is a challenge also. And especially in the Eastern Europe area, we for a long time made a mistake of thinking that intelligence is memory. It is actually not. It is the ability to use the memory and the experience you have in order to make concepts and then play with these concepts. Yeah. So that would be, in my view, intelligence, which is none of the threat of the artificial intelligence. Actually, artificial intelligence, as we know today, the most advanced artificial intelligence, as we are informed, it is not, it is anything else but it is only a weak artificial intelligence as it is defined in the technical words. That is just at the beginning. Now it has impressive capabilities like memory, like identifying things, like simulating things. Yeah, you can do these deep fake things today. You can recognize people all over China, or you can somehow predict part of the behavior when giving a loan and stuff like this. But it's not intelligence. It's just a large device of memory, approximative memory, yeah, not exact memory, and that's it. You give to the artificial intelligence algorithm and a large number of inputs, like millions or billions if we are talking about large language models like ChatGPT, and you get a probability. Yeah. So ChatGPT, for example, what you get, you give them an entry point, you describe as detailed what you want, and then what you get a word, and the probability for the next word to be that one. So you have 10 words in, yeah, and then the engine chooses the one with the largest probability, and so on and so on and so on. So it's just, you know, it's just a simple probability. Inside, if we look, and this is critical when talking about law. Inside of an artificial intelligence, it's a large matrix. Yeah, like 20,000 per 20,000 or 20 billion per 20,000, very large matrix, filled in with numbers between 0 and 1, never 0, never 1. Yeah, so you never get a certain. What you get is a probability. Is never no, is never yes. It's somewhere in between. Yeah. This is, and then say you ask the artificial intelligence, is this a human? Yeah. What you get back is, it is a human with a probability of 99.9%. Yeah. It is safe to point the car in that direction? Yes, with a probability of 99%. This probability for something that we consider advanced artificial intelligence at this point of time is higher than the human capability. Driving a car, yeah, we talked about this. The artificial intelligence that is developed today is capable of, you know, driving millions of kilometers before having an accident, which is never happening to a human. Yeah. But when it happens, you know, there is a problem. How do we do it? So, recognizing something, giving a clear indication on what we should do in a very particular context is that capability of artificial intelligence, is that tool, you know, that helps us in deciding, in moving forward. But getting that memory and putting it in a very different context is useful. Yeah, so this is why it is not artificial intelligence. The second point of this large matrix of numbers between 0 and 1 probability is that the memory is always approximate. Yeah, it's not like I retrieve a file, a picture from my repository, or I retrieve a, you know, a type of document or whatever, and it's always the same. No, it is close to that, but it is not identical. And the problem is you get an answer, yeah, from that artificial intelligence, and then you ask why. You can't have, you know, because artificial intelligence, the flow through that matrix is always forward. What you do when you walk backward is you feed in an error. You don't retrace your step. So you get a logical conclusion which is very advanced. But why? You can't get this from the artificial intelligence. So unless the Y is already there as a memory, yeah. So another process of memorizing something. And then applying this to the law, you get a decision. Say you have an artificial intelligence judge, and he gives you a decision, good or bad. Why? Not able to explain why. Yeah. So then, where we are. That will be all in all artificial intelligence. A large number of probabilities. Yeah. Never zero, never one, never sure.
Thank you for your answer, which clearly explains a lot. It's all about mathematics after all, and probably
simple mathematics, high school mathematics. Yes.
Thank you. And moving on to Lucija, I will ask you, how has AI already shaped the legal field? Because I've seen lawyers who are terrified by it. I've also seen colleagues also within our network who are actually excited about it and its possibilities. And what do you anticipate for its future impact?
First, I have to say that this opinion needs to be heard by every legal professional, especially working in the domain of IT law, because it explains the essence of artificial intelligence. And I read about judge bots and how they shouldn't be used, for example, in the criminal system, because they contain bias and that it's a dangerous thing to implement. When it comes to the legal profession, it is already shaping the whole landscape. And I read about many new products, for example, in the United States for legal practitioners. For example, artificial intelligence is used for contract review, for some other manual procedures, for billing. All these procedures that usually take a lot of time and humans make errors, artificial intelligence does it better. However, some lawyers are terrified regarding artificial intelligence, they don't use it at all. On the other hand, we have another extreme. Maybe it's a bit, maybe it's not okay to say it as an extreme, but it's happening. There's something called computation bias. And that means that some people blindly trust the artificial intelligence. So instead of using it only for correcting errors in contracts, which totally okay, because when we write something, when we read it, we cannot spot our errors. There have been some occurrences about lawyers who use, for example, ChatGPT or Copilot or any other product and asked about case citations. And it happened that, we all probably know this, that the artificial intelligence invented these cases. They never existed.
They call it hallucinations, no? I think.
As I mentioned, artificial intelligence is not about memory. It's about approximative memory. I feed in millions of entries, yeah, and then I get something out which is approximate. And everything that I get out is not memory, actually it's a new creation. So in this type of creating information or using something that should be otherwise memorized, I would point in a very different direction.
Thank you. And coming back to Lucija, as you were saying, it's pretty dangerous to use AI at the moment when being a lawyer.
I think it is good to use AI as a lawyer, but I think they should use it carefully. I mean, lawyers always double check facts. So why do you blindly trust something that is a tool? It is, I'm not against it. I'm actually very pro all technology and artificial intelligence.
Sorry again to interrupt you, but I remember a university professor who said, he was I think a sociologist, and he was saying that while his colleagues were studying at that point in time, I think it was the 80s, they were studying artificial intelligence. He said that his domain of study is human natural stupidity. And I think that also applies to what you were saying, you know? Because while AI systems are currently limited in their scope, the human natural stupidity is, as Einstein said, probably infinite.
Yeah. I essentially think it's a great thing that lawyers are using AI and other tools, but as I said, they cannot blindly trust a tool. I mean, I personally use it as well, not for case citations and stuff like that, but I ask it questions sometimes. I mean, everyone does.
So a word of caution for lawyers, don't fly too close to the sun, because
Yeah.
you might get burned.
Especially when you don't know what you do.
Thank you. And moving on to another question for Lucija, but I will also invite our specialist, Mr. Elisei Craciun, PhD, to talk us through this development. What is your opinion about the recent enactment of the AI Act by the EU? It's currently in the works, but it's close to a final version. And what are the implications that you foresee for your lawyers and your clients?
I think that the AI Act will open many possibilities for lawyers.
I know it's a first in terms of regulation worldwide.
And we always talk about how the AI is going to replace lawyers and they're all going to lose their jobs. I think it's the opposite. The final enactment of the AI Act will bring more jobs to lawyers because it states that companies, developers need to prepare. So it's actually an interesting legal document, and they took the approach to divide AI into 4 categories. So the first category is unacceptable, the second category is high risk, the third is limited, and no risk is the fourth. So apart from these, from the first category that is unacceptable, we have high risk AI. It refers usually to AI used in law enforcement, health, education, and it has to adhere to stricter compliance requirements. It is still unclear how generative AI is going to fall into these categories. I was just reading a scientific article about that, and we still have time to see how it is going to be resolved when they bring out more technical guidelines and similar stuff. As for lawyers, since now there are new requirements for companies and they have an extended period of time to prepare, I think it is going to bring more opportunities for lawyers, more jobs, and I think as it was with the GDPR and all similar legislation, firms will have to take this extended period of time to prepare properly and produce policies, corporate governance documents, and actually study the AI Act thoroughly.
Okay. Mr. Craciun, please.
I will give you I would say an image on how to look at this artificial intelligence topic and regulation on it. And the parallel is the transition from horses as primary locomotion method to the present car. Everyone said a couple of hundreds of years ago, the invention of the car will actually lead to the demise of the horses, and then they should be replaced. What happens today is that actually the number of horses in the globe is 10 times, 20 times larger than the number of horses that used to be a couple of hundred of years ago. So what's the learning here? Technology never cuts jobs, ever. It creates additional economic value, and it is increasing the number of jobs. But what actually what it also does is replacing some jobs with some different jobs. The legal and the requirement for the legal expertise stays there with artificial intelligence. But what is required for the legal advice would be to be able to use this tool in order to better satisfy the customers they are serving. And it's also about skill. Let's ask a horse rider a couple of hundred of years ago to ride a motorcycle, or motorbike, or a car. Today, they don't have the skills. Yeah. But then when you upgrade the skills, you are capable of going longer distances, shorter. The same with the legal advice. If you have the skill to use the artificial intelligence, it is important, and you are doing it responsible, then you can provide much more spread or stronger legal advice to your customers. That would be, in my view, the implication of this regulation of the artificial intelligence today.
Thank you so much for your insight. And going back to Lucija, my next question would be, how do you stay updated on AI regulations, for the first question? And the second one would be, what challenges do you face when keeping pace with these rapid developments, because they tend to come very quickly, one after the other?
Okay, I put these two questions into one because the answer would be like that. You have to keep up all the time. I mean, if you lose the track,
it becomes impossible.
It becomes impossible. Not impossible, but hard to understand. So it's better to keep up all the time. I keep up.
Especially in tech law.
Yeah, especially in tech law. I mean, my job is to keep up with regulations. I wouldn't be doing my job good if I wasn't doing that. But that means that I have to be ahead of it when it comes to my clients. I have to be the first one to know. So I read a lot, and I check news every day. And when I see something, I get into it and read about it more. So sometimes it happens, holidays or life comes in when you maybe are not as accurate as you should be, but you have to keep up as well. So that's the only thing I can say. I mean, you have to find sources, for example, on the internet, that are reliable and that are accurate, and you have to track them.
How do you disseminate between reliable sources and rather, obscure?
I follow institutions, official institutions on the internet, for example on LinkedIn, and when they say this and this is happening, I think it's reliable.
The subject is, being a lawyer is a liberal mission. Being an IT is another liberal mission. Being a doctor is the same. And they usually don't mix up. Yeah? With this artificial intelligence, legal and not only legal, yeah, it is also applicable in the medicine sector and all the other liberal, where you need to have your mind up to date.
So it's very holistic.
Yeah. The bounds between the missions, they become unclear, so very advanced, very good lawyer nowadays might be, yes, skilled in the legal subject that he's choosing, but he should also start being skilled in this IT using the artificial intelligence. And using the artificial intelligence is about skills, ability to ask questions or to put that tool in the right context so that it gives you some answers, helpful answers, then you need to process them, to not trust them blindly, and come to a final answer to your customer. But what is important, we are far from that age where you learn something and you stick with it your whole life.
Yeah.
My grandfather was employee to a single company for all his life. My mother Yeah, she was in several companies. I am employed in a lot of companies and usually multiple at the same time. Yeah, so what we need to do is to keep learning, and some of the skills that are relevant, yeah, like this artificial intelligence, should be also present there. And this is our human capital. Liberal missions, they are very far from the traditional capital. We only need our mind with us. Yeah, we don't even need a computer if we want to do it. But then when we involve a computer and artificial intelligence and an nice office and we do business like partners and spreading networks, then we are really.
It will sound like, sorry, it will sound like I'm philosophizing, but you are talking about revolution in the human psyche. Because you are saying that you have to adapt, you have to, get used to everything that's happening. So,
yeah,
how does the human psyche, deals with this pressure?
We are lucky that it is not an artificial intelligence, our mind. It is actually very flexible and capable of learning and changing entirely or adapting to very different contexts, like there is no tomorrow. As soon as we need to do it in order to survive, we're going to do it. So our mind is luckily created to learn, use concepts, and use them in very different environments. Investing in our mind, knowledge and skills, it is something that is new but very valuable. Investing in investing in a robot, that's nice when you do it hundreds of times, but no case in the legal arena is identical to another case. So what you do, you need to think, and in order to do this, your thinking muscles should be trained. And this is the human capital. This is the value. This is the additional, the difference that the liberal missions make in the new economy.
Thank you. We won't get into the implants that Elon Musk is preparing for us all, but I have to say that the first part of our conversation has been very enlightening, and I would like to thank you for that. And with this, I think we've reached the halfway point in our discussion today. We'll be back to resume our captivating conversation with Mr. Elisei Craciun, PhD, and Mrs. Lucija Vranešević Grbić, our special guest coming from Belgrade, Serbia. See you shortly, and we'll resume momentarily. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you are feeling recharged after our brief interlude. And now let's dive back into our enriching conversation with my two honored guests, Mr. Elisei Craciun, PhD, and Mrs. Lucija Vranešević Grbić, our special guest coming from Belgrade, Serbia, a Wolep member who has a lot of things to say about our topic today, which is AI regulations and the implications that AI technologies hold for the lawyer's practice. So get ready for more insightful perspectives and engaging discussions as we pick up right where we left off. And I will begin by asking Lucija, how do you envision the intersection between a very special technology, which is blockchain, and AI, impacting legal frameworks, specifically in client representation and also data protection?
Well, blockchain technology is a very promising technology. For example, if you scroll down on the internet, you will see articles stating that AI and blockchain are the new power couple or something like that. I mean, it's a bit too much for an illustration, but the thing is that blockchain can actually help AI in some aspects.
And I think now is the moment to, sorry to interrupt, I think briefly to ask Mr. Craciun what exactly is blockchain? Because if we are dealing with concepts, we need an explanation.
Apart from the fact that it is actually a technology that enables moving funds from whatever part of the globe to whatever other part of the globe instantly. Actually, blockchain is something that guarantees that a specific deal or a transaction has been done and is not easily or nearly impossible to be repudiated because of its distributed, democratized character. What it is now, getting out of the technical terms, blockchain is supported by a number of, should be supported by a number of computers that are distributed over the world. So when you ask blockchain a question, actually all the computers in the network are asked the same question. The idea with blockchain is I need to get online. Online, copy and paste is easy, anyone can do it. How do I make sure that if I pass a bill or a document to someone, that transaction is confirmed online? An email can be forged, deleted, whatever. How do I do it? I do it through blockchain. Yeah. So in order to validate whatever IT data, in order to be sure that that data stays there, is not change altered, I can use blockchain. And it is by far the most advanced security technology from this perspective, guaranteed that the document is not changed.
So you're saying this is a technology that is here to stay for the foreseeable future, and going back to its implications in your practice?
I would like to first add something about the AI Act. I mean,
yes,
now that we have heard about all the main perks in technical sense about blockchain technology, we can sum it up to what the Act wants to achieve. The AI Act wants to, long story short, to establish a substantial level of transparency, fairness, and security. All of these can be delivered by blockchain, and we have heard about that. So when it comes to the legal profession, I think that blockchain technology can be utilized in a very promising manner, for example, to protect data. I mean, keeping confidential data is a very important aspect in the career of every attorney. So it's not yet been utilized to a level where everyone is using it, but I think it is getting there.
Thank you. And moving on to our next questions in this segment. We have also seen some other promising technologies being developed as we speak, which something that comes to mind is something that makes the news every day, which is autonomous driving, AI operated systems as well. What would be, and this question applies to both of you, what would be some challenges and cybersecurity implications which arise from these systems? Of course, we don't need to anticipate this in the near future because probably there will be some legal actions against it.
I will talk from the legal aspect only, so I won't talk about the technical challenges.
That's why we have this
yes, exactly. But the automotive industry is going forward, and now that we have seen a surge of electric vehicles, we can also see that many countries are bringing guidelines and legislation regarding autonomous driving.
It's somewhat at the forefront of the AI hype.
Yes. And it is important to distinguish first because people tend to use it interchangeably as synonyms, that autonomous driving as a term and the advanced driving assistance system is not the same. I mean, they're both powered by AI, but they're not the same. So when we talk about autonomous driving, we have 6 levels from 0 to 5, and I will get into it, but 5 is the biggest level with no human intervention, and the industry wants to reach that eventually. So when it comes to the legal sphere, we have many questions here. For example, liability. If an autonomous vehicle crashes and produces damage,
and I think we've seen that in recent months. Yeah.
Who will be liable? So will the manufacturer of the vehicle be liable? Will the safety driver be liable? The developer of the AI system? We need to resolve liability issues.
So it's a case of Deus ex machina.
Yeah, and when we talk both about autonomous driving and the advanced driver assistance system, many people may notice that AI power systems, I mean, obviously are using data. So advanced driving assistance systems that are being already used and utilized within the automotive industry can use a lot of sensitive data and even biometric data, fingerprints, iris scans, I mean face recognition. That's all the same our smartphone uses, but now this is all getting ahead. It is important that all AI systems need to be compliant with the GDPR, because the implications could be severe for manufacturers and developers, because we already have existing legislation.
Thank you. And passing on the microphone to Mr. Craciun, what do you think that the rise of this type of technology, because we are all driving a car at some point, what will it do, and what challenges does it spring?
In short, so many technical and legal implications, which creates significant additional economic value.
But also headaches.
Headaches, yeah, which needs to be solved by the lawyers. All in all. The point would be, yeah, you use an artificial intelligence to do something, and then an accident happens, and then there is a problem, either economic responsibility or even criminal responsibility. Now, what do? We can stop producing this type of tool, AI, because we will never be able to blame the responsibility to the AI, more or less, let's say, until they will get their ID card, and or we can do it responsibly. What means this? I am the producer of this autonomous driving system, and it's a very advanced system, and is capable of driving your car around the town or interstate for 10 million kilometers before one incident will happen. If that incident happens, someone will die. Now, if I'm myself in 10 million kilometers, I'm sure that I will probably kill at least 10 people around, because I'm human. I get tired, I make mistakes, and so on and so on. Actually, the average is way above 10 people killed in 10 million kilometers. So, the problem is, who is responsible for this? Now, myself as a producer, I should be able to prove that I did everything that was in my capability at that point of time to avoid an error in the system. So how do I do it? Yeah, like we talked about, I might be able to use blockchain and to trace, yeah, to enable the log, the audit log of everything I did, yeah, so that when a problem occurs, and it will occur, I can prove that I did it the right way, let's say. So I was not biased by whatever, I provided in the right data, I did, you know, the right quality and performance testing and so on and so on. Yeah. So that would be, from this perspective, the approach of handling, let's say, the responsibility in using this AI technology in economic or criminal incidents, and maybe not passing the responsibility, but you know, not assuming it.
I will now ask you a personal question because it came up. Are you that confident at this moment in time in these types of technologies to be a passenger in such a car or not? Have we come to that point in which you breeze into the car and get to your destination without any worries?
If I'm a passenger, I think yes. I'm usually relaxed even with normal people that tend to have a larger rate of error. If I'm the driver, because I'm not protected by the legislation at this point of time, and as we started, if there is an incident, the manufacturer is responsible and the driver is responsible. So since I am responsible, I will switch off the system. And to be honest, when I'm driving the cars, even with this lane assist, I'm switching it off. So
okay.
I like traction control and stuff like this, but then interfering with my style of driving, which is mostly unconscious, yeah, that's a problem. Get it from under, the conscient level to, to be able to sync with the system. No, either I do it and I have the responsibility, or I don't do it at all. It is tiring.
What about you, Lucija? Thank you.
Well, I think the answer is almost the same. I mean, I would give it a try with safety driver as a passenger, but to make let it take over totally and also interfere with my driving style, no, I know as a human that I probably make a lot of more mistakes than AI could. AI needs only to make one big mistake. I probably make a lot of them. But maybe it needs to become a bit more mainstream to be reassured. And what about you? Would you?
Not at the moment, and not with my family inside.
I'd like to add a point here, which might be interesting. Let's compare AI and driving risks and value with pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Yeah. Because even with a simple drug that you take from a pharmacy, there might be an implication like your body is wrongly responding to that substance, and then have something happen and you get ill or even you die or whatever. The the pharmaceutical company that created that drug is heavily what's the term? Controlled. It's heavily structured. They need processes and procedures, and they are also audited from external parties in order to pass on the responsibility of creating that drug that might, for a small part of the people, have a negative effect. Yeah. From this perspective, AI is far more advanced than pharmaceuticals, and also killed far less people than pharmaceuticals. So, yeah, at the beginning, the drugs were so bad, let's say, that large number of people used to have adverse reaction and so on and so on. With AI driving your car, you are pretty much sure that in 1 million kilometers you will hit someone. Yeah, but there will be only one. With drugs, let's take drugs. Let's see. Do we trust them? Do we not trust them? What's the problem? So the same might happen also with the AI. Having it.
That's an interesting parallel.
Yeah.
The two.
Yeah, very interesting parallel.
Industries.
I also wanted to add something in the beginning. I talked about computation bias and how many professionals outside the IT industry, for example, lawyers, they tend to blindly trust an AI system. But at the same time, many people don't blindly trust an autonomous driving AI system. So
Yeah.
it depends on the perspective, probably.
So it's because we refer to history, it's history in the making, and
Yeah.
many adjustments are needed in order for everyone to feel safe. Also about not only about their jobs but also about their safety. Based on our discussion, Lucija, I would like to ask you, what do you predict will be the most significant challenges and opportunities for lawyers in adapting to the discussed AI regulations and also to technological advancements which apply to their jobs as well?
We have already, both of us, talked about the importance of education, especially when it comes to laymen. So I think that will be one of the biggest challenges and possibilities for lawyers, because since we started law, we didn't start technology, but it is taking over the market and we need to understand it. We need to gain a basic and maybe a bit more advanced understanding of technology so that we can delve into contracts. That's why I said at the beginning that every legal professional should hear the technical side of this round table.
But who is doing this education?
That's an interesting question.
As an adult, we are responsible.
Yeah. Anyone should choose someone reliable, but then again, what is reliable? I said that institutions, governmental agencies may be reliable when it comes to legislation and regulatory updates. But who do we consider reliable is a really good question. I'm not sure I can answer it at the moment. For example, if people go on and read about it more, I think that with more education they could differentiate between bad and good sources.
And we still haven't talked about unethical AI. Because that's also a part of this.
And whether AI could produce fake news, and as we also
can certainly do it.
Yeah.
Because we are also preparing for a lot of rounds of elections this year, and they are already speaking about its influence on elections in various countries. Not only
Deepfake.
Yeah. I mean, the technology of deepfakes is evolving all the time. They get to pretty good results. We've already seen some fake financial schemes being perpetrated.
Yeah.
Great. And to Mr. Craciun, I would ask, what is your take on the future of AI in the next, I don't want to pronounce a too far-sighted number, but in the next months or years?
Months? I don't think that, I mean, yeah, it always a break or an aggressive change might happen, yeah. But even yes, yeah, whatever was to be invented in AI, it's already a decade long there. What we are now doing is we are learning about it. Yeah. Deep learning, like Copilot, ChatGPT, whatever, large language models, and so on, face recognition, deepfake, yeah. The technology is there. Mathematics is 7 years old already. Capacity to compute it in real time is there like 15 years ago. So what we are going to do, we are going to learn about it. We are going to see a large number of AI. We are using AI in our phones by now. So AI, I think, is also here to stay. It's a new technology. It has the capability and the capacity to increment the economy to a new significant number from 4.0 to 5.0, whatever. But it's a technology. So it's there to stay. Let's learn it, get used to it. Yeah, and everyone should do their job. Legal side to create the entire legal structure and framework around it, like we have for the cars. Yeah, and us, because we are mostly liberal missions, and our most valuable capital is our mind. Use it, train it, yeah, and get used to it. It's there.
So would this be the advice that you give to young liberal professionals, especially lawyers, to use their mind in the coming years and to adapt to AI changes?
I had a conversation with my two biggest kids, teenagers, yesterday, and I asked them about AI.
What's their take? What's their perception?
What is AI? I asked them. The nearby 17 years old kid, she told me a lot of things, and there is that joke going to a IT specialist. Can I start learning, teaching my kid about, discussing with my kid about AI? Yes, which is 10 years old. Yes, you are going to have a lot to learn. So I had a lot to learn from my 10-year-old kid. But the other one, which is slightly younger, is not yet into it. So kids are there to use it. It will be part of their life, and they are going to use it like a mainstream, like a commodity. If kids are going to do this, also the professionals should be there to adapt and adopt it and use it. Yeah.
Lucija, do you agree with
totally.
Mr. Craciun's assertions?
Because children born into this era, I mean, are prone to technologies. So they grow up with it. From the moment they are being born, they already see smartphones, all kinds of technological tools, and that's something that cannot be avoided. So, as it has been said, if a small kid can see it, learn it, and use it, why couldn't all the professionals from other branches do it as well? I mean, it's coming whether we like it or not, so.
Which leads us to a final question for you, which would be, how can legal professionals also contribute to shaping AI regulations and to shaping the AI debate? Because obviously you are a stakeholder in this in industry and domain.
They, again, I have to say, they can contribute to it by learning about it, getting into this sphere, and lawyers can help in many ways shape regulatory framework. I mean, by by using it, by writing suggestions, by writing articles about it. I mean, I think that recently, just within the EU, there has been a call for contribution for AI systems and the metaverse.
Okay.
So legal professionals, I think that was something like that. So I hope I didn't make a mistake, but it involved the metaverse or virtual worlds, how the EU calls it. So I think that any legal professional can contribute. They have to keep up with these announcements, seminars, conferences. If you go in debates, you can state your opinion, and I think that networking and learning from other professionals helps our profession grow.
Thank you. Let's hope that is the case for the foreseeable future. And now, as we conclude our podcast, we have gained valuable insights into the pivotal role that regulations on AI and data protection are playing in the legal domain. To our viewers, our esteemed viewers, we invite you to explore our other episodes and contribute to our ongoing discourse. And to fellow Wolep members, we encourage you to express interest in joining as experts on the show, enriching our discussions with your insights. We also urge you to subscribe, to share, and actively engage in our discussions. Your involvement fosters a vibrant exchange of knowledge. And now, as we wrap up this episode, I'd like to express our sincere thanks to Mrs. Lucija Vranešević Grbić for sharing her expertise, but also to Mr. Elisei Craciun, PhD. I think your contribution has been immense for this show, because obviously it's always good to hear the specialist's opinion, an inside opinion. So as we wrap up Decoding AI in Law, I would like to thank you once again, friends. And until next time, we look forward to continuing this enriching journey with you. Your support and engagement will always be extremely beneficial to our podcast and make this ongoing exploration into the world of law and technology truly valuable. Until next time, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.